Fun was that just to pop the pads and get down and dirty?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a little more heightened when the pads come on. I think it's always day two that everybody kind of settles in. You know, you feel like you're trying to do too much a little bit sometimes when you have the pads on day one, but we'll clean it up and we'll get everything fixed and we'll be better tomorrow. It's kind of the way training camp is. You keep stacking days, you get incrementally better every single day, and before you know it, man, you're a hell of a team.
How valuable are these days in full pads when you only get, 12 of them?
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, in season you get one. You know, if you can get the full team out there after week one, it's a pretty good year for you. You know what I mean? You got injuries and stuff like that. So taking advantage of it. I mean, it's going to be a hot day, you know, so you got to push through. And so I think it's just that this group has not really worked together a ton. We've got, you know, people kind of going in. You know, Will Fry's been in, Donovan's been in, Blake's been in. Tackles have been new. So, you know, getting everybody together, the more reps we can get, and as we're getting closer to getting, you know, 5 guys in there consistently, I think that'll be good for us as well.
What's kind of the thing you're trying to emphasize just to Donovan? Obviously, he's got some pretty tough competition to start his career against in practice.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it's just like, you know, the tackle expects you to be at this place on this play. I expect you to be on this place in this play, right? And it's the fine details of the NFL are a little bit different than college. You know, college is you're placing, you know, kind of an elite player, you know, once every couple weeks. This is going to be every single down, every single week. So it's really the unity of the 5 guys playing together as one is just that much more important at this league. So I think it's probably the biggest thing. Be where you're supposed to be, and not talking, you know, not talking about within like an inch, but you know, you need to be on the same level. We need to be on, you know, do this and that. So yeah, I think he's done a really good job.
What do you think you can learn the most just from facing the quality of competition with, you know, 3 veterans going on the D-line?
Yeah, I think, you know, they're versatile. They're also different in what they do. They've all got their own unique skill sets, which is really impressive. And then playing this defense. I mean, you couple that with the defense. I mean, we played them, you know, put them last year, the year before that. It's a tough deal when you get behind. So they can make things look this way and it comes from this way, or, you know, you never know what's going on. It's kind of Flo's defense, and I think to add those 2 pieces of that is pretty great. We just got to hold up our end of the bargain with the young quarterback. That makes us better. I know that when we go out there and see our opponents, it'll be a little bit slower because these guys are moving around everywhere.
Kind of piggybacking off that, how much of it is a factor of iron sharpening iron right now out there?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's always been that way. I think, you know, the trenches make each other better. You know, at times we get sick of each other, and but at the end of the day, you know, we're going to see things from them that we won't see anybody else do. It'll make us better for it. And, you know, you're going against great players every single day that test who you are personally, and test your group. And then you put, you know, the pads on for the first time, add a little heat, and you see what you're made of. So it wasn't a perfect day. We did some good things, some not so great things. Starts with me up front. I can be better on some things. And I think as training camp goes, you just keep stacking days. And I know those guys are going to give us great looks, and they'll make us better. We'll make them better. And hopefully at the end of this thing, we're rolling this way.
When you talk about the Flores defense, it seems like a lot of people around the league, you know, copycat league, are doing a lot of the same stuff as he wants to do with disguises. I mean, just how have you seen that change through the years, and like how are you trying to guide JJ through that?
I mean, I think there might be some teams that try to emulate it, but no one that I've seen since I've been in the league have tried and successfully done it the way they've done it. I mean, you know, I played a lot of defensive coordinators. I mean, there's some teams where they make things look differently, but I wouldn't say there's as much movement as Flo does. You know what I mean? And it's not just that. It's, you know, is Andrew Van Ginkel going to be considered a linebacker or a defensive end on this play? And then you get into 3rd down and long, you know, 2 years ago, and we're sitting there like, I mean, I don't know what's going on. So I think you couple all those things together with really good players, and it makes it really tough. And, you know, that's kind of their methodology is just chaos. You know what I mean? They have great players to support it. It's one thing to have, you know, decent players and do that, but to have really great players and do that just makes it a really big challenge for us, and you know, get on the same page.
Ryan, I know you've talked about it a little bit, but what are you seeing through this first week from JJ? Not necessarily throwing the ball, but just his command of the offense so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, the blocking stuff, like the routes and all that just kind of comes. It's, I think, really the important thing is how he presents in the huddle. I think he's done a really good job since I've gotten here in the spring until where he is now. I think he's steadily progressing as far as his command in the huddle, holding guys accountable. You know, it just comes with the territory, man. It doesn't matter if you're 22 or if you're 42.
So we're going to rely on each other, and then it was really fun getting out there with Will today for the first time with some live banging with Will. So, yeah, it's been a good start, but we got a long way to go.
Blocking for Jordan, blocking for Aaron, are there differences?
Not if you make a big enough hole. I don't know. It's too early to tell because today, first day being in pads, it's harder to tell when you're in shells. But I haven't noticed a big difference yet. No.
Here, I'll let them
Brian,
jump
what are
in.
your impressions of that defensive line you're going up against day in and day out?
Oh, it's really good. I was just telling somebody that, every day I get to block a all-pro edge rusher and then an edge rusher who was a Pro Bowler who probably should have been an All-Pro who led the NFL in pressures. So I certainly feel like they're making me better, and I hope that me and the other tackles are hopefully helping them as much as they're helping us.
What stood out to you about JJ so far?
Just his explosiveness. He plays angry, which every D lineman should. He wants it. He wants it really bad. You can see it in his eyes. You can hear it in the way he talks. You can see it in the way he trained all offseason. This stuff's really important to him. And if it was important to as everybody as it is to JG, I think we're in a good spot.
What about JJ when it comes to McCarthy? Just what stands out so far?
He's been great. I've really been impressed so far in camp with just how he's taking command of the huddle, how he's taking command of the meeting rooms, how he's integrating himself. Little things like in the weight room, in the cafeteria as one of the guys. He was slinging it yesterday. I haven't watched the film yet today. I'm just watching the guys that I'm trying to block today. But I'm really excited for him. I think he's in a great spot. And the only thing I can really do is give him a good clean pocket to go to work. So that's that's all I can do to help him.
Brian, as a veteran, what's the best part of having pads for the first time?
Getting to hit somebody and see kind of how the off-season training really paid off, and really start to shake real rust off, because you can only do so many things on air and without pads, because a 3rd and 8 bull rush is going to be a 3rd and 8 bull rush, and so there's no real way to train it other than doing it. So it was good to get out there and get some reps. Gotta be sharper, but that's every day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Off the field and see your son for the first time. Core memories unlocked right there.
What's that sleep schedule like for you right now?
I never in my career have been pumped about sleeping at the hotel until this season.
All right, tell me about your guys. When you look left, you look right, you see all this talent around you. What's it like now playing on this defensive front?
Well, it's been a blessing to be here for my entire career, and it's cool to see each year new additions come in, and to see Flo's thumbprint on the defense keep standing out year after year, and he kind of has these pieces that he brings in, and you see career year out of guys. And so to bring in the guys specifically into my room, not only the ones we acquired in free agency, but the ones that we drafted, we're really optimistic about our group. I think what we need to learn on, we're first day in pads here, so everyone's still trying to figure out people's techniques and styles, and the best defenses that I've been a part of, you learn to play off of one another. Hey, this is how this player plays a 2-eye, so if I'm a 3, I got to know this, that, and the 3rd. Hey, now I'm in with Jonathan Allen. He plays the 3 technique like this, so as a 2-eye, I should work to do this so we can complement each other better. I think that my skill set is versatile enough that I can be a good comp for whoever I'm in there with. I think that's what I can bring to that, is allow them to do what they want to do, and then I'll be that player that can be malleable enough to fit the defense, if that makes sense. But it's really exciting to have this much talent around us.
What's that leadership role like? How are the young guys pulling you to the side and asking you to get better, or asking to get better themselves?
I think that that's an initiative that you need to see out of a young player. That's not something you want to see, or that's something you hope to see. If you don't see that out of your young players, they aren't going to be around for a long time. They have to want to get better. And so if that's grabbing me in between meetings, if that's tapping me on the shoulder during a meeting, hitting me up at the hotel, at snack, we have the young guys in my room, and actually some of the young guys on the defense who don't even play in my room, some of these young linebackers that we have are asking me questions about, how do you see this block? How do you see the way they're attacking us? And you have to have that if we're going to count on some of those young players to contribute for us this season.
This past offseason, you talked about when you guys brought in, typically in the past you had to start at ground zero, but the players you brought in this year, you're picking up from where you left off. Do you feel that mentality already?
Yes and no. I think from a mental side, 100%. Today, I want to go back and watch the film about how today was. Obviously, it was rusty. It was our first day. Also, with the way we're playing our defense in new spots with more versatility, it's kind of new for everybody. I'm sure you're seeing me move throughout the line. You're seeing Hargrave do to different places, Jonathan Allen go to different places, and it's almost like you're a rookie again when you're out here. So we're going to dial in. We're going to watch the tape, be very critical, because I think the standard we're going to have this year is probably the highest standard that we've had in my room in my time here. Appreciate it.
I feel like you can help Donovan Jackson develop just as a young player going against you every day.
Fortunate that he's about 3 or 4 lockers down from me, and so we'll be sitting there pre-practice, and he'll ask me a couple questions, or again, just the organic conversation if Ryan Kelly also sits real close to us. So he and I are talking about a different scheme, the way they pass it off, and halving techniques versus combos, and he's right there listening, and we'll sometimes ask him questions. So for him, it's just going to be, it's tough when you're a rookie with a lot of expectation. You want to go out there and win every single rep. But in his role, he needs to get a coaching point. I don't want to. He needs to do what his coaches tell us, but what I would imagine is they're going to tell him a thing to work on that day, and he has to work on that thing. And so if it's a offhand punch, even if he's going to get beat 10 times today doing that, he needs to work that. And it's a practice for him so that he can become a better version of himself. And so I think he's doing a fantastic job. But if there's a day that he's getting beat all the time, that's not a worrisome thing for us. That's him taking coaching, working on something so that his game becomes more complete.
First day of pads, some of the defensive players circle every year when the training camp schedule is shared.
Yeah, I think especially for defensive tackles, it's so hard to, strike a guy with a t-shirt on and then your hands get high. You can't really show what you can do. You get the pads on, you can clearly see knockback, you can clearly see shedding. The only question now is, did you actually tackle him or would he ran through your arm tackle? And because the most important thing in this is getting better every day. And the second most important thing is that every player that walks on the field can walk off the field. So we always are Vikings playing with Vikings, but we definitely brought that physicality today.
So many veterans up front and playing in some different ways. Like how eager and important is it to have these days when you get the pads on?
I think every practice is different for different players. Later players in their career, they've got to hype themselves up for the practice. Younger players got to calm themselves down for the practice, and you got everybody in between. You got some players who know that they're going to be on this team and they're just going to work on a specific thing. You got some players that say, I have to flash today or I'm not going to make this roster. And so it's so different for so many players, but at the end of the day, every single one of those people that they've brought into this organization, all 91 guys out here, is trying to get this team better, and that's what's important.